This is the story of Brother Carlo, a convert from Australia, and now his name is Ahmad. He told this story in an interview with Muslim Australia TV. Ahmad was born to Italian Catholic parents who had lived in Australia for a long time, and he was even born in Australia. He converted to Islam about 25 years ago. His journey in search of God started when he was very young. Back then, his grandmother and the people around him often warned him to be careful with Muslims, because Muslims are evil.
When I was young, my grandmother used to tell me, stay away from the Muslims. They're evil. And I used to think, wow, the Muslims are evil. And Muslims being Lebanese, because we grew up thinking that only Lebanese were Muslims, right? Didn't know there was Indonesian Muslims and whatever. Right? And she said, the Muslims, they worship the devil. And if they have an opportunity, they'll kill you.
Instead of being afraid, he was curious about Islam. His thoughts on divinity evolved. He believed that God did exist, but did not know what the purpose of life was. Young age is not an obstacle to getting guidance. Allah will open the doors of these for anyone who seeks it. While at school, Ahmad Carlo meets Saadi, a kind-hearted Muslim. It was an encounter he didn't realize he had, but it was the beginning of his discovery of Islam. Although Saadi did not actually teach him Islam, Shadi's good behavior made Ahmad Carlo feel at home with him, and they became friends.
So I was at school. It was the later years of school, year 11, year 12. Well, I met a friend, good friend, Shadi. It was funny because when I was at school, I used to hang around with the Aussies, right? And we used to make fun of the Wogs, essentially, right? And so Shadi was part of a small group which we called the Arabs, right? So they were a little group.
Where was that? Was that
Bass High School.
Bass High School?
Yeah. So basically Bass High School has what we call a quadrangle, it's a quad, and each group controls an area of the quad. And so the Arab quarter was down sort of further away, and then you had mixtures of everyone else. Well, Shadi was there amongst those, and I didn't really like the arrogance of the group that I was hanging around with, but that's all I knew. So when I got to know him, we became good friends, and we started the band together.
The friendship between these two people continued until they were adults. Plus, they both shared the same hobby, music. To continue their hobby, they opened a nightclub on Jacob Street. Carlo's heart for Islam at that moment did not break, but rather seemed to crawl. The essence of life that he had been searching for since childhood had yet to be found, until he finally did the things that made him happy.
And then we started a nightclub. Anyway, so we were in that scene, and we were running these nightclubs. We used to let them in for free, and we became popular with the police. But anyway, so one night, we were sitting together, and we're watching everyone dancing and making fools of themselves. One night, I think we made a decision. We wanted to turn the music off and see what people do, right? See what the reaction is.
You actually experimented?
We experimented, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So sent a message to the DJ and said, turn the music off in exactly 5 minutes. Don't warn anyone. So he turned the music off, and it was like the people who were dancing, it took them a good 20 seconds to realize that the music was off and to react. And it was like everyone just went into a zombie mode. They didn't know what to do, And it was at that moment I realized that this can't be it. Life was a combination of highs and lows. So, we would try to, do things to feel happy and feel good about ourselves. And then, at the end of the night, when everybody went their way, you find yourself alone again, then you crash.
Such happiness is not what he expected. It is only outwardly pleasing, his mouth smiling, but his heart empty and hollow. Some time later, Allah gave him another sign. Allah's guidance is unlimited. While with Saadi, Carlo experienced something strange. This is a unique sign that is rarely experienced.
Yeah, one night we were rehearsing in the back of his house, And his grandmother was a religious woman, and she was essentially a bit of a role model or a guide for the family in terms of religion. So that particular night we were rehearsing, and according to him, I sort of went into a little bit of a trance. Something happened to me or whatever, and all I remember was like deja vu. It was a feeling I got that I felt like I had before when I was younger. But anyway, I saw in this, I don't know if you call it a vision or whatever, but I saw people dressed in white and all standing in rows, right? And they were all facing a black object. And then when I came around, he asked, he said, what happened to you? You were just like, in a trance. And I explained to him what I saw. And he said, I'm going to go ask my grandmother because she knows. So he runs inside. Then he comes back and he said, wow. He goes, she said that's how people pray in Mecca. I go, what's a Mecca? Like, what are you talking about?
Hearing Saadi's grandmother's answer, Ahmad Carlo then became confused what had really happened to him. As a curious person, for weeks he pondered about it, the incident always on his mind. Then someone he didn't know suggested that Carlo go to the mosque and ask someone there. Ahmad Carlo went to the mosque with Saadi, but on the way something slowed them down.
One night we got up, we went to Lakemba Mosque. Funny enough, on the way to Lakemba Mosque we got pulled over by the police. Subhanallah. It was so funny. So we were on Glassop Street and all of a sudden a car comes straight for us with its high beams on.
Right.
And we thought, what the hell is this guy doing? Is he crazy? And then sirens came on.
This is right outside the mosque?
No. This is on Glassop Street going towards Lakemba.
Okay.
And then another police car and another police car and about 20 police cars. And they stopped us and they took us out of the car and they said, wait there. And they said, this is a stolen vehicle. So basically, towards the end, this police car comes speeding and, like in the movies, skids. This lady police officer comes out and she said, Shadi, this is a stolen car.
Okay.
Anyway, about an hour later, they came to us and they said, we made a mistake. The car that was reported stolen was actually in Queensland, not in New South Wales. So it was a big mistake.
So the police made mistakes.
SubhanAllah, it was a crazy mistake. But funny enough, it was while we were on the way to the mosque, right? So when we were going to the nightclubs and when we were doing everything else, no issues, right?
After the incident with the police, they rushed to the mosque. He really couldn't imagine how peaceful he felt at the mosque. He met many people and even saw someone say the Shahada. He became increasingly curious about Islam. Although it took a long time, he finally decided to embrace Islam. Praise be to Allah.
As soon as I entered Lakemba Mosque, the feeling I got was unbelievable. It was overwhelming. Like I felt like something was unreal. I didn't feel like, I felt, wow, what's this place? Like peace. I felt like real peace. And then, alhamdulillah, we met a couple of people there and they started talking to us about Islam. And there was another Algerian brother, alhamdulillah, he was just really, like the inspiration I got from them was amazing.
So anyway, you became Muslim?
I became Muslim
Yeah.
after 1.5 years.
1.5 years.
After embracing Islam, Carlo changed his name to Ahmad. He started praying, fasting, and other acts of worship. Telling others about his Islam is difficult. However, people will eventually find out. The people around him slowly began to stay away, because some of them did not like Islam. The girlfriend he loved also eventually left him.
Yeah, so she was like a girlfriend at the time before I became Muslim. And when I approached her and I said, I need to tell you something, I became a Muslim. And she went hysterical. Like she absolutely wanted to, I thought she was going to break her house because it was at her house. And she went hysterical and she said, I wanted to be a bride, I wanted to have a wedding in a church and Anyway, at the end of the day, I said, well, I'm not going to change, so what do you want to do? And essentially we split. She said, good luck with your life, and I said good luck with her life, and that was it.
Every trial does not have to drag on in sadness. Ahmad Carlo was actually afraid to tell his parents about his Islam. After all, Allah wants to guide his parents. and now both his parents have firmly embraced Islam. It was the most beautiful gift for Carlo.
But in a nutshell, my mother, alhamdulillah, became Muslim, and my father also accepted Islam. But my mother, subhanAllah, just really quickly, so I was at uni and she was cleaning my room, and I had the Quran on the bookshelf. And as she's cleaning the bookshelf, the Quran fell and landed on the ground, and it opened up to the Surah Maryam.
And that's in English.
It opened
That was
in English, yeah. I had English, Arabic, yeah. And she picked it up and she started reading. And subhanAllah, she found in that surah the story of Maryam as a child, which is not in the Bible.
That's right.
Right? The Christians don't know what happened to Mary as a child. And when she read this book, she became fascinated. So when I got home, she said, "I need to talk to you. I found this book on your shelf." I said, I'm finished. I'm gone. And then she told me what she read. She said, "I want to know more about this religion." Over a short period of time, she accepted Islam.
After his parents converted to Islam, Ahmed Carlo no longer needed to hide his Islam from people. Islam is getting stronger in Ahmed Carlo. A good Muslim is a Muslim who benefits other Muslims, and that's what Ahmed Carlo does. He tries to be more useful to many people. Even now, Ahmed Carlo is participating in Muslims Australia TV. Praise be to Allah.
Alhamdulillah, I was actually teaching basic tajweed and alphabet and Quran to reverts, but also to some Lebanese brothers who never had the opportunity to learn Quran. They grew up like Aussies, and all of a sudden they found Islam again, like everybody else, and they just realized, hang on, I can't read Quran. They were too embarrassed to go to a sheikh and say, hey, I'm born Muslim and I can speak Arabic, but I can't read Quran. So I thought, we started off just saying, well, how about I teach you what I know? I mean, it's only little, I don't know much, but at least you can give you a start. And alhamdulillah, it was successful. Like those people, can vouch that they learnt the alphabet, they learnt how to read. Now they're reading Quran, and they took it to the next level, beyond what I could do for them.
That's all for today's video. Hopefully, it will inspire many people. Go back to the Quran, because all the answers to your questions are there. Don't hesitate. Open the Quran and read it. Thanks for watching.